Chicago's crybaby killer. I don't want to do bad things no more, boss. Rat turned sniveler. Drug dealer Saul Rodriguez, who bawled like a psychopathic baby when he was sentenced to 40 years for murder and kidnapping, was just the Saul you shouldn't call. I see what you did there, Daily Beast. One Saul nobody should call is Saul, pendejos. Is Saul Rodriguez, the 39-year-old crybaby killer who headed a murderous gang known to stash kidnapping victims in a basement with a large macaw parrot trained to repeat 2 words. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. Yo, that's a torture in itself. Y'all remember Peter talking about that bird? I'm sure he'd like to put that bird in a soup. Not even other criminals want too much to do with Saul. He not only turned rat, he also blubbered and sniveled like some oversized psychopathic baby when he was sentenced in Chicago last week to 40 years for 3 murders, 29 kidnappings, stealing millions of dollars and distributing millions more in narcotics. Gee. The killings included a contract hit and a torture murder in which the victim's ears were burned off before his strangulation with an extent. You got the nerve to cry, bro? You got the nerve to cry? With that face? With this face? And what you did, what it says you did here to somebody? You think you got the right to tears? They should have cauterized, just like you burned dude's ears, they should have cauterized your tear ducts, bro. So that you hydrated yourself to death with your own tears. Oh shit, demonetization. Shy says some metaphorical shit and it sounds too cruel. So we're gonna shut it down. The killings included a contract hit and a torture murder in which the victim's ears were burned off before his strangulation with an extension cord as part of a vain effort to elicit the location of drugs and money. A third homicide claimed Rodriguez's best friend. With friends like these right here, look at his stupid face. Who needs enemies, man? Wow. So he got hit for his best friend's murder too. Rodriguez then showed up at the funeral acting like a mourner. Prosecutors noted in a pre-sentencing memorandum. That's normal for dirtbags. What's his face did that too. Alpo. A lot of people in general do that. Show up to the funeral, play the game. Just take a look at Bishop and Juice, hugging, looking crazy, over people's shoulders. Alpo, I think, wrote his name real big in the book. Bruh, you doing too much, bruh. Among those Rodriguez kidnapped were 6 children as young as 5. He only got 40 years. This guy only got 40 years. That's it. Among those Rodriguez kidnapped were 6 children as young as 5, a pregnant woman, and an elderly grandmother. He scored $2.5 million in cocaine by grabbing one of the identical Flores twins, who were the exclusive Chicago representatives of the Sinaloa cartel. Main vein, basically. The road to fucking Culiacan. 2 of the numerous kidnapped victims knew Rodriguez and unwittingly called him for help in putting up the ransom. So he was kidnapping his people that thought that they could depend on him for help. Look at his face, though. His face just say that he does all of that. Look at him. He probably couldn't fight. Didn't do well with chicks, probably. Look at him. Wow. He was kidnapping people that cared about him enough that they didn't know who kidnapped them, but they're calling Saul for help. Saul, help me. I need your help, bro. I need some money. I need ransom. Meanwhile, he's the guy who came up with the number for your ransom and put you where he put you. It's bananas. 2 of the numerous kidnapped victims knew Rodriguez and unwittingly called him for help in putting up the ransom, with the understanding they would pay him back. He left them thinking he was a fine friend in a pinch, just the Saul you would want to call, or at least until you learn the truth. The man who saved my life, one of the victims recalls thinking of Rodriguez for a time. That's... Oso said trash human, absolutely bottom feeder, just the bottom of the barrel, dirtbag. Same position as the PDF files, same position as people that hurt old people and babies. There's no place for you, and I don't believe you can be rehabilitated. That's my belief. Wow. Rodriguez's partner in crime after crime after crime was a Chicago police officer. Was it Jerome Finnegan? Nope, not this time around. That means for all you people like, oh, okay, fine. Jerome Finnegan, we had one bad cop. No, look, we found another one. There's two. Not to mention the thousands of them that you ignored. But yeah, look, we got another one. Rodriguez's partner in crime after crime after crime was a Chicago police officer named Glen Lewellyn. The two first met back in 1996 when the cop arrested Rodriguez for selling pot and took him to an unmarked warehouse the Chicago police used as a kind of black site. They always put the word kind of. No, it was a black site. It was a place to hurt people. Lewellyn arranged for the charges to be dropped after Rodriguez agreed to become a confidential informant. 96-20, codenamed Bill Pager because he owned a beeper store. Bill Pager. These guys are so creative. The written agreement Rodriguez signed forbade him from continuing to deal drugs, but Lewellyn rest assured him those were just some words to be ignored. Same way the United States government assured the twins and their wives that we don't need that money right now. You know what I'm saying? Don't worry about that. Just give us this tape. Lewellyn told Rodriguez, keep doing what you've been doing. Keep dealing drugs, the prosecutor would say at trial. Rodriguez continued to sell drugs in the community with Lewellyn, a police officer's blessing, which put Rodriguez in the best position to gain information about other drug dealers. What I was arguing about the other day, I was saying, of course these cops be letting these people continue their operation. Of course these cops be letting these people do their thing on the street. Otherwise, how you going to get the information that you want from them? If they're not doing the job that they were doing when you found them, that you wanted the information for, then how are they going to get you information? I think it's all just for show, just to show the public. No, we don't let them, we have a moral high ground. We do not let them sell drugs while they are confidential informants. I believe that's just for the public to see. I believe that's just for them to give us this notion that, you know, not only are they informants, but they're not selling drugs, because then that would mean they're technically selling drugs for you to stay in the business so that they can give you information. So they don't want us to know that, right? But if you ask me, a lot of these dudes ain't got no choice but to stay in the game. You get out the game, you ain't getting no more information. Not the information they want. Rodriguez continued to sell drugs in the community with Lewellyn's, a police officer's blessing, which put Rodriguez in the best position to gain information about other drug dealers. The arrangement provided for Rodriguez to receive a $1,000 reward for every kilo of cocaine recovered as a result of his tips. $750 per kilo, more than he made dealing the stuff. So what's his incentive to hustle? There's more incentive to be a rat for him. A stack for every key. Wow. Yeah, there's no incentive for him to stay hustling. What's the point? When he can make $750 more per key. If he's not in the game, they don't get them kilos, and they don't get to spend that money with him. Lewellyn stood by and watched as Chicago police paid him $40,000 to be a police officer, while they paid Rodriguez $800,000 to be an informant, the prosecutor would report. See, now this is a crossroads that Jerome ended up at one point or another, where he said to himself, at what point am I playing myself, chasing these fools around? These dudes go snitch, they get a couple of dollars. I'm sitting here with nothing. I might as well just start extorting these fools. Because Lewellyn sees it. Lewellyn making $40,000 a year being a police, while Saul's making 800 stacks just being a rat. But Lewellyn, I'm sure at this point he was already on the take. He hadn't surrendered to his $40,000 a year at this point. Nah. Because he told him from the jump, keep doing what you're doing. Write down that you ain't going to sell weed no more, but keep doing what you're doing. He was already in the dirt. He knew what was necessary, what he had to do. By 1998, Lewellyn and Rodriguez decided to change the nature of their partnership. One criminal and one cop turned criminal, working together to steal drugs and drug money for profit, the prosecutor would say, and they made over $1 million doing it. Rodriguez and Lewellyn became what prosecutors would term the CEOs of a crew of violent criminals. Rodriguez planned and directly participated in all of the crew's criminal activities. As for Lewellyn, He not only planned and directly participated in many of the crew's violent crimes, he also served as the crew's guardian angel. The prosecutor would add, instead of arresting this crew, Lewellyn led them. Lewellyn served both as the sword and the shield of this crew, which allowed them to commit crimes for years to come. On September 11, 2001, when the rest of the country was transfixed by the 9/11 attacks, Rodriguez and Lewellyn decided it was a perfect day to rob some drug dealers of 80 kilos of cocaine. The two CEOs subsequently pooled the proceeds of their numerous crimes and founded a real estate firm they called R&L Development. These guys were lovers, boy, a whole couple, these guys. They was building their little front businesses together. R&L, because, nobody, it's never be strange in the street to see these two assholes sitting at a table having lunch, right? Nah, doesn't look strange at all. R&L Rodriguez and Lewellyn, the prosecutor would observe, they bought a green Crown Victoria and outfitted it with lights and a siren to make it indistinguishable from an unmarked police car. Kidnapped victims such as the Flores twins imagined they were being arrested when they were first nabbed. They were cuffed with plastic ties and blindfolded before they realized otherwise. In the meantime, Rodriguez heard that his best friend had slept with an ex-girlfriend. Uh-oh. He looks like one of those. Let's look at him again. Yeah, you look like you'll cry over an ex-girlfriend. You touched my girl, bro. That was my girl. I loved her. You ain't been with her for 5 years. Yeah, bro, but you ain't supposed to mess with her. She was mine, bro. Look at him. Just a mess. Rodriguez heard that his best friend had slept with an ex-girlfriend. Rodriguez arranged to have the best friend's car burned and to have drugs planted at his home. The best friend was arrested and freed on bail. Rodriguez then had him murdered. What a piece of shit. He took it like a gangster, Rodriguez later testified. He took your bitch like a gangster too. In the meantime, Rodriguez heard that his best friend had slept with an ex-girlfriend. Rodriguez arranged to have his best friend's car burned and to have drugs planted at his home. The best friend was arrested and freed on bail. Rodriguez then had him murdered. He took it like a gangster, Rodriguez later testified. What a piece of shit. What a trash human being. Your best friend, bad enough, you burned his whip, which it could have ended right there. But then you planted dope, then set him up to get arrested, and then smoked him. Too many people let you slide. Too many people left you out the game, let you out the game, you know what I'm saying? The game you were playing. There was consequences for you too. Nobody was holding you to them. 2 other murders followed. The kidnappings included the owner of an auto rim shop that Rodriguez patronized. So damn, you can't even give the guy a deal on a set of rims because he's gonna come get you too. This the dirtiest kind of person. So you can't even give him a deal on wheels. 2 other murders followed. The kidnappings included the owner of an auto rim shop that Rodriguez patronized. The Rodriguez underlings who carried out the snatch scrolled down through the man's cell phone asking who might have money to pay the ransom. Why don't we call Saul, the victim said. Saul. Let's call Saul. The men dialed the number and held the cell phone to the bound victim's ear. Rodriguez quickly agreed to pay the $700,000 ransom. The victim made good on a pledge to pay back his good friend Saul with interest. It came to $800,000. So he double dipped him. Ha ha ha! Woo! It just gets deeper and deeper and deeper. Hold on. I'm reading this again. The kidnappers include the owner of auto rim shop he patronized. The underlings who carried out the snatch scrolled down through the man's phone asking who got the money to pay for this. Dude said the victim said call Saul. So this guy said Saul will do it. Saul said, yeah, I'll pay the $700. You just got to give me $800 back. Cool. They let him go. And now Saul stand on due for the $800,000. Wow. Set the deal, set the price, then added an extra vig and got it too. Yo, scrape the bottom of the barrel type motherfucker. It took me about 3 years, the victim later testified. Yeah, I bet. Wow. How is it that people ain't figure out that this guy was behind all of the, I mean, he's catching a vig from everybody that owes him something, you know, from a ransom. In 3 years, you paying it off, and nobody hips you to the fact that, hey, this dude's game is he kidnaps people. He says he paid the ransom because he knows the people he kidnapped, and then he gets an extra 100 stacks. It's crazy. Another call to Saul came from an elderly bar owner he knew and arranged to have kidnapped. You can't even serve the man a drink. Think about that. You a bar owner. You a rim shop owner. You got an ice cream parlor. You got a regular customer comes in all the time. You throw him a deal. You throw his kid a ice cream cone. Next thing you know, this dude got you tied up talking to a parrot. Another call to Saul from an elderly bar owner he knew and arranged to have kidnapped. She told me they had kidnapped her and that she needed my help to pay the ransom. Rodriguez later testified. She sounded really scared. You think? In April 2009, the crew went to rip off what they believed was a dealer's 600-kilo stash of cocaine, but what was in fact a DEA sting. They were arrested, and Rodriguez found himself facing life in prison. He, of course, agreed to cooperate fast. As soon as he smelled the police, he put his hand up. Your Honor, I got something to say. Let me speak. April 2009, the crew went to rip off what they believed was a dealer's 600-kilo stash of coke, but was in fact a DEA sting. They were arrested, and Rodriguez found himself facing life in prison. He, of course, agreed to cooperate and testify against his former partner, Lewellyn. Lewellyn was convicted at trial and sentenced to 40 years. Rodriguez was initially promised a reduced sentence of 35 years, but he could not help being Rodriguez. He was caught smuggling a cell phone into the federal lockup. He also worked hard at integrating himself with a high-ranking boss of the Sinaloa cartel. The cartel boss, Vicente Zambada, had been locked up thanks to the Flores twins, who had also agreed to cooperate after being arrested. Rodriguez now provided Zambada with everything he had learned of the twins, and he was planning to kidnap one of them, including where their families lived and the location of a barbershop and a restaurant they own. So it's just a bunch of rats and ratting to rats about rats, and it's just everybody's talking on everybody, and it's like, what does it matter at that point? Y'all are all in a PC somewhere. He wanted to get some information to try to kill them. Rodriguez later said of Zambada, we're gonna have to look into that. In response, the government moved to revoke the deal with Rodriguez and asked the U.S. District Court, Joan Gottschall, to give him 40 years. Rodriguez appeared in Chicago federal court for sentencing last Friday and blubbered for what reporters estimated to be 10 long minutes. Wah. Using tissue upon tissue as he begged for no more than 30 years. So you crying over the Saul buck like a bitch? I don't want to do bad no more. I'm going to be good, Daddy, I promise. Mama Joan got y'all, please. I'm going to be good. I'm not going to kidnap my friends no more. I'm not going to kidnap, extort, and terrify old ladies. I'm not going to kidnap the guy that gave me a deal on my rims no more. I am not going to set up my friends to go to prison and to be unalived. I am not going to, none of those things. Not going to snatch up 5-year-olds anymore. I'm not going to be the hating, jealous, bottom of the barrel, dirtbag piece of shit that I really am. You should have got left in a napkin or a rubber or something. Also said he belongs under the jail. He belongs in the shower drain. He should have ended up in the shower drain. You know what I mean? That's just the type of person that is. A man with no code. Zero code. They should have been mopping you up off the shower floor. Others who spoke included the sister of his murdered best friend. She recalled how Rodriguez had gone to her brother's funeral after arranging to have him shot to death. How could you, Saul? She asked. The judge gave Rodriguez the 40 years. One voice that was not heard was the parrot, which could have offered 2 perfect words for sending the crybaby killer off to prison. Fuck you. The guy should have ended up in the drain, man. In a sock, something. Wow. All right. Let's take a look at his stupid fucking face again. Look at his stupid fucking face. And the first thing he does when he goes in there is start giving information on other people. Like, everybody should have been ganging up, giving information on you. Like, you should have instantly been taken care of, like, quick, fast, in a hurry. You know what I mean? That dude right there. Too many people let that dude live. That's why he was getting away with all that shit. I mean, that's why he kept doing all that shit. I think he was super jealous of the twins. I think he was super jealous of everybody. The rim guy, this guy got too many rims. The 5-year-old, that 5-year-old's too young. The abuelita with the bar, that lady owns a bar. Like, I feel like he was a dirtbag that was just, his best friend smashed his girl. Like, all of this shit, he was just an under fucking achiever, a bottom feeder, you know what I'm saying? Like a filter fish. I think he was always going to go like water, the path of least resistance. That's a lot of dirtbag shit he did. Like, they didn't even get to the 5-year-old. I ain't hear the 5-year-old story. That's the type of dude that'll take it from a woman. That's what he seems like to me. Same as the PDF files, all of the above. In the time that dude, the rim shop owner, in the time that dude was paying him the 800 grand, he probably went and shopped with dude a couple of times. You know what I'm saying? So his caper was more of a in the dark, you know. A lot of people didn't even know it was him they was paying this ransom to. So he got away with a lot of shit. But the ones that knew, you know. Evidently the twins knew because it was right away. As soon as Jay heard his voice, he said, "Man, that sound like so and so." And he went and he talked to somebody, and they said, "Oh, you think it's him?" And he said, "Yeah, I think it's him." Well, if you think it's him, then it's him, because that's what he does. So there were people that knew what he was on. Kay knew what he was on enough to snatch him out the whip. Knew he was casing the crib, you know. Retired Chicago police officer sentenced to 18 years in prison for role in violent drug distribution conspiracy. I thought he got 40. That involved the distribution of hundreds of kilograms of cocaine, murder, violent kidnappings, robberies, home invasions, and obstruction of justice. Casi nada, almost nothing. A Chicago police officer from 1986 until he resigned in 2003 was one of 5 co-defendants who were convicted following a 2-month trial in late 2011 and early 2012. There was no allegation that Lewellyn participated in any murders. Right. Of course not. Lewellyn, 57, formerly of Chicago, Las Vegas, and South Suburban Frankfurt, was taken into custody following his conviction on January 31st, 2012. He faced a maximum sentence of life and a mandatory minimum of 10 years in prison. The government sought a sentence of 30 years from U.S. District Judge Joan Gottschall, who imposing the sentence said that public interest in general, deterrence, and respect for the law, as well as the seriousness of Llewellyn's crimes, called for the 18-year sentence, even though she did not believe that he posed any risk of personal recidivism. The jury that convicted Lewellyn of a narcotics distribution conspiracy did not reach a verdict on whether he also participated in a RICO conspiracy, racketeering conspiracy. And the government today dismissed that count because it would not have added any time to Llewellyn's sentence. The evidence at trial showed that from 1998 to 2006, after he had retired, of course he retired early, he was able to retire early, but he was robbing everybody blind. Of course he could retire early. Lewellyn, together with brothers Hector and George Uriarte and others, participated in drug conspiracy with Saul Rodriguez, who Lewellyn had arrested in 1996 and enlisted as a Chicago police informant while allowing him to continue buying, selling, and stealing cocaine. Lewellyn personally participated in violent kidnappings and robberies of drugs and money, and obstructed justice by providing information to his cohorts and interfering with criminal investigations into their activities. Lewellyn decided that he could make more money breaking his oath and the law than he could by serving and protecting, the government argued in a sentencing memo. He ruthlessly kidnapped victim after victim at gunpoint, restrained them, and threatened them until cocaine and money was provided to secure their release. A total of 11 defendants were charged in the case. Rodriguez and 3 co-defendants pled guilty and testified as government witnesses at the trial of Lewellyn and 4 co-defendants. The case began when Rodriguez and others were arrested in April 2009 after they conspired to steal hundreds of kilograms of purported cocaine from a warehouse in southwest suburban Chanahan. as part of an undercover sting operation. Rodriguez is awaiting sentencing and is expected to receive 30 to 40. You got 40, Papa, and you cried about it because you wanted to sneak a phone in so that you could get information and get somebody else's family hit because you're a dirtbag. It's just what it is. 30, 40 years in prison under the terms of his plea agreement. Jorge Uriarte was sentenced to 60 years in prison. Hector Uriarte received 50 years in prison. And trial defendants Tony Sparkman and Robert Cardena received 42 years and 10 years, respectively. Lewellyn's sentence was announced by Gary Shapiro, United States Attorney for the Northern District of Illinois. Jack Riley, Special Agent in charge of Chicago Field Division of the Drug Enforcement Administration. Jack Riley's funny. In that in the video that I did about the Culiacanazo, Jack Riley's like, I hate what Chapo did to the south side of Chicago. What Chapo did, south side of Chicago been the south side of Chicago. Chicago been Chicago for 100 years. Who did that? Chapo did that? Nah. No. America did that. So stop it, Mr. Riley. Llewellyn's sentence was announced by Gary Shapiro, United States Attorney for Northern District of Illinois. Jack Riley, Special Agent in charge of Chicago Field Division of the Drug Enforcement Administration, and James C. Lee, Special Agent in charge of the Internal Revenue Service Criminal Investigation Division. Them the ones that get you, the IRS. The investigation was conducted under the umbrella of the Organized Crime Drug Enforcement Task Force. Government is represented by the Assistant State's Attorney Tara Reynolds, Stephen Block, and Tiffany Tracy. Now, I thought they said he got 40 years. This could be wrong though. This could have been updated since then. You know what I mean? So we don't know. So Glen Lewellyn, you're the same bottom-feeding dirtbag that Saul is. You know what I'm saying? You're a carjacker, dog. Here's the contract, y'all. Now, mind you, the contract don't mean shit. Because it says, don't do this, don't do that, don't do this, don't do that. And Llewellyn was like, don't worry about it, son. I'm above the law. I'm who I am. Cooperating Individual Agreement, Organized Crime Division, Chicago Police Department. Time, 1,445 hours. Date, 28th of February, 1996. I, Saul Rodriguez, the undersigned, understand that while I am a cooperating individual of the Chicago Police Department Organized Crime Division, I am forbidden to do any of the following: sell or deliver any controlled substance, dangerous drug, marijuana, or any substance purported to be same to anyone. Never sell or deliver or cause to be sold or delivered any controlled substance, dangerous drug, marijuana, or any substance purported to be same to any person who would then in turn sell or deliver said controlled substances, dangerous drug, marijuana, or any substance purported to be the same to any member of Chicago Police Department or the Organized Crime Division. What? Don't sell drugs to cops, obviously. Never use my sexuality, that dude didn't have none, or sexual activity to induce or persuade any individual to sell or deliver a controlled substance, drug, marijuana, or any other substance purported to be the same to any member of Chicago Police Department Organized Crime Division. Never initiate, become involved in investigation, or gather information on a person, organization solely because of the person's or organization's First Amendment conduct, or selectively for political, religious, or personal reasons. So wait a minute. This is telling the cooperator, the rat, don't just put people on our radar because of your religious beliefs. Don't be the kind of dirtbag you are. That's the kind of dirtbag this guy is. This guy sounds like he'll do something dirty to you because you like a song he don't like. You know what I'm saying? That's just type of dirty pig animal that this dude is. So never initiate, become involved in an investigation, or gather information on a person or organization solely because of the person's First Amendment conduct, or selectively for political, religious, or personal reasons. It's hilarious.